What is what is happening, YouTube? Happy New Year to everyone out there. The man LTH coming at you with the first video of 2025, which will consist of the Texans versus Titans. The Week 18 season finale in Nashville. And of course, I am aware, the last time these two met, you know, Tennessee scored an upset win versus the Texans, picking off Stroud twice. And of course, Will Levis, you know, outplaying Stroud despite throwing a pick six and being sacked 8 times. So, Tennessee won Week 12 matchup 32-27. And yeah, and here we are, Week 18. Seen this movie before. These two teams playing the last game of a season, but difference is it's going to be played in Nashville. And I understand that the Titans are going to be rocking the Oilers uniforms, which are badass, by the way. And I also learned that the starters are going to be playing, the Texan starters, according to D'Amico Ryan. So, it'll be nice to see Nico Collins get 1,000 yards receiving, along with Joe Mixon getting his 1,000 yards rushing, since he's 7 rushing yards away. While Nico should have already been above 1,000 yards. If not for the injury and not for some bonehead penalties. Should have had that versus the Cowboys, week 11. But, Nico's going to get that opportunity to do so this Sunday. Just like Mixon's going to get his opportunity to get his 1,000 yards rushing, which should happen, just as long as Bobby Slowick, behind, can, utilize the offense the right way enough, which he hasn't figured out how to do during year 2 as OC. And safe to say, I'll be glad when he's gone elsewhere, truth be told. But let's get on to it, Texans versus Titans, division games, always tough, not always out of reach, and I feel like the Titans found a way to outsmart the Texans week 12, So, and I know Tennessee's currently holds the number 2 pick, so should they sweep us, they will move down to like 2-3 spots or 4 spots. But should the Texans win and keep them at number 2, then hey, I'll take a season split, even if it means getting Tennessee closer to either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, by the way. If it means spicing up the competition in the division, for years to come. So, I know the Texans defense missing some key players in, Jalen Petrie and Jimmy Ward, who are both out for the year. And the nickel area is going to be something to keep a close eye on. Whether Mason Rudolph or Will Levis plays. Though I've learned that both quarterbacks are going to be playing for the Titans. So that's something to keep a close eye on. And the defense, got to, do a better job of slowing, limiting the big plays through the air. Slowing down NWI Chigi, that tight end who had a 70-yard TD last time these two played. And not safe to say that Azeez Al-Shaair is back after serving his 3-game suspension. So that's a good sign for the linebacking core. And if I was to predict who would get an interception for the Texans defense, my 3, will be Kamari Lassiter, Caleb Bullock, or Derek Stingley. Those are my 3 main predictions for an interception. And of course, the sacks sacks, every sack matters, so they gotta get to the quarterback along with an effective pass rush. And of course, D line gotta do their job. Yeah, it's easier said than done, but defense just gotta do their job the disciplined way. If they hope to get the Titans off the field. Now as far as the offense goes, I mean, Deontay Johnson's gonna be. I could see him playing in this game. Since he didn't, with the opportunity him to learn a playbook. You know, even though the play caller is sorry as Bobby Slowik, but Deontay Johnson's gonna be the player to watch. See how many catches he can rack up, yards and catches he can rack up in his first game in the Texans uniform. And of course, you got to get a ball to Nico Collins, especially when separation is right there. And I get it. Stroud hasn't lived up to the expectations in year two. It's been a pretty down year for him, but I would like for him to have at least a solid outing to close out this regular season. And of course, with no committed turnovers. But let's say if Stroud was to commit a turnover or two, I would say those turnovers would be interceptions. Since the Titans picked him off twice last time they played. But of course, get the tight ends involved. And of course, the rush of the offense has been, slacking lately. So if the running game can be good, that'll be nice. Joe Mixon got to at least have a good enough game to close out 2024. With his 100 yards rushing type of day. Even if he doesn't get 100 yards, but does get his 1,000 yards receiving, that'd be nice because it's been 5 years since the Texans last had a 1,000-yard rushing in Carlos Hyde. Yep, 5 years since the Texans had a 1,000 yards rusher in Carlos Hyde in his lone season with the Texans, truth be told. And, another offensive player to watch is John Mechie. Got to find a way to get him involved as well. And, of course, got to keep an eye on that offensive line. Because, especially at the interior, having to deal with T'Vondre Sweat, the former Texas Longhorn, and Big Jeffrey Simmons, who is a baller when consistent and healthy, who got that one-hand sack on Stroud in Week 12 late in the game. And Harold Landry. I mean, the Titans defense, they're pretty talented when healthy. They got a stout run defense, They don't easily give up big plays through the ground. I just feel like they're just offensive talent away from doing dynamic things in future years. But as far as the Titans defense, got a good pass rush. Got Harold Landry. That dude's nice when healthy. And they also got that dude, L'Jarius Sneed, who they traded for in the offseason from KC. Notorious for locking down big name receivers and Stephon Diggs, for example, who's out for the year. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sneed ends up guarding Nico Collins. And so if that's the case, let's just say that Nico Collins is going to have to bring his A game versus L'Jarius Sneed. Because it's not going to be the one to pull any punches. I mean, good things happen when the Texans protect the football. And just like me saying, good things happen when the offensive line protects C.J. Stroud. If it means buying up some time to find an open receiver. Because, running for his life, it's never easy finding an open target. And yeah, with my own eyes, I've seen Stroud take unnecessary sacks from holding on to the rock too long. Knowing that you got to know when to throw the ball away. And of course, third and long has been a pain in the ass for Stroud in that offense. So it's a must that they must avoid that at all costs. Get into some manageable second and third downs, which would help, keep the drive going in creative fashion. And I know offensive coordinator's trash for the Texans, but I just want to throw that out there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, just like week 12, I wouldn't be surprised if this game is close again. Thanks to two teams, playing each other tough. I mean, but like I said, if Tennessee would have win this game, they would move down, possibly lose their shot at Shador Sanders or Cam Ward. But should the Texans win, in which I predict, hell, they will help Tennessee getting either Shador Sanders or Cam Ward. Hell, I wouldn't mind finishing 10-7 to close out 2024. Despite the fact that I understand that they probably won't go far in the playoffs. Regardless on who the opponent is for round one. But yeah, man, the key to this game, man, is, efficiency. Efficiency and mistake-free football on both sides, offense and defense. I mean, if they can find a way to achieve that, hey, I could see this team walking out of Nashville victorious, knowing they won the last three dating back to 2021. So let's see what happens, come week 18 Sunday. Like I say, Happy New Year. Of course, shout out to the Houston Texans faithful. And also, with all respect, shout out to the Tennessee Titans fans that live in Houston. Not just in Houston, but all around the world as well. That rep their team to the fullest. Of course, got to shout out my guy, Titan Anderson, along with his right-hand man, Billy Scott. Shout out to you guys. Happy New Year to y'all. Shout out to Titan Upload. Happy New Year to you too. Titan Rossi, shout out to you. And hey, that's about all I got. But I ain't gonna lie, I do want to go finish, at least 10-7. But hey, can't afford to get my hopes up too high, because ain't no telling which Houston Texans team is gonna show. So there's my first video from week 18, first video of 2025. Like I said, Happy New Year to everyone. And this been the man LTH checking on up out of here, 713 Bio City.